Hello and welcome back to the Sixth House. I am Alicia Moon, where we are on day number 6 of our 21-day fast, and I must say that I'm feeling really, really good behind this fast. Well, I struggled to determine what I would share with you today, and I can't really say it was a struggle because there's always a topic that we can cover. And I figured, I think more eliminating topics was more of a struggle, but I figured that I should probably cover something that would be beneficial, especially for this time of the year. In the office, I am seeing quite a few patients that are suffering from the flu or suffering from asthma. My mother just had a bug, and I sure hope she doesn't mind me sharing that information with you. But unfortunately, many of these bugs have to run their course. And if you don't make it to your physician in time, 48 hours after you have developed your symptoms, and if it's the flu, then the medication is not going to serve you any purpose whatsoever. Tamiflu is what we usually prescribe to shorten the length of the flu. But if you don't make it within that first 48-hour window, then they won't prescribe it for you, or they should not prescribe it for you. It is an antiviral, but it really is of no purpose if you start taking it after 48 hours of developing your symptoms. However, all is not lost because most of us have something that will help to shorten the length of the flu or cold, or even open up the chest when you're having an asthmatic exacerbation or flare up, rather. Most of us have the things right in our kitchens that will help us heal much more quickly. One of the items that I use on a regular basis is this little guy right here, which is this is garlic in bulk, and you can just peel one clove here. And when I'm telling people how to do this, they don't quite understand what I'm saying. So I'm just showing you. And actually, this is a pretty nice size. Don't even need that much. Oh, he tried to get away. Don't even need that much to make a cup of tea. Garlic is extremely important because it has antiviral, antifungal, and antibacterial um, properties. And so it will fight off any illness. It's potent enough to fight off cancer. So this guy right here is extremely important. So I actually used this with a couple other ingredients in a tea for my mom. She was sick and in bed, and she had flu-like symptoms. She was not tested, but I'm pretty convinced that if it was not the flu, it was his cousin, the flaw. um, if you use garlic, and some people use garlic on a regular basis, some people consume a whole lot of garlic, and you have to be really, really careful with it because just like medications, you can have too much of something, even something that's good. Garlic can play on your nervous system if you have too much of it. So, what you want to do with herbs and even spices is use them for their intended purpose and get out of there. There's no need to overdose on this stuff, okay? You just eat properly and your body will heal. It will utilize the food as it should. But garlic, again, is a very important ingredient in a lot of the tonics that are used for several different illnesses. I think it's called sativa, and I could be wrong about that. I will have to check to be on the safe side, but I've read many studies where garlic is used even in cancer research. Something else that I've added to the tea for my mom is lemon. Lemon rids the body of excess acid. Now, in order for illness to survive, it needs a certain medium or a certain atmosphere or a certain environment. And acid is one of those things. It loves sugar. So you need something to counteract the acid, and lemon, as well as apple cider vinegar with the mother, is really, really, really beneficial and effective against any excessive amount of acid. If you think about how damaging acid is, especially for a patient who has a compromised kidney, someone that has renal disease, they are cautioned against eating so much meat or protein, because once the body has broken it down, the buffer system has done all that it can with the acid. The remaining acid goes up against the kidney and it severely damages it. And I'm not a renal patient, but I do not eat meat because I understand the problem that it causes in the body. Well, even with your respiratory illnesses, you can have respiratory acidosis for several different reasons. May not be a severe case, it could be a mild case. However, acid does build up in the body, and that is one reason why we make honey and lemon tea, which brings me to this. If you're going to use honey, make sure it is a real raw honey. This has the honeycomb in there, so I know that this is raw honey. A lot of your commercial honeys that you find on the shelves, even though they say they're raw, they have sugar added to it. And what does disease love more than sugar? Sugar attacks the center in the brain, the addiction center in the brain, and makes you want more. And it just keeps your body in a state of demise. So you want to eliminate that white refined sugar as much as you can. If you're going to use honey, make sure it is the raw honey. So I used garlic, lemon, honey, cayenne. Cayenne is really, really good in fighting off any respiratory issues. When you have a cold, you need something hot to balance it out. But it's also beneficial for blood pressure and stabilizing blood pressure. So if you can tolerate a little spice, that works really well. Something else that is good for fighting off colds, purple onions. And any of this can be used in combination. But that honey is really good for counteracting some of the spice and just helping out with the taste. So you can use purple onion, which I did not use for my mother. Instead, I used peppermint, and I forgot to bring that. I used peppermint. I'm out of ginger, but I used ginger, peppermint, lemon, honey, and cayenne. And I was just trying to get her well fast, and guess what? It worked. Another very beneficial herb is eucalyptus. I'm saying herb, it's really a plant. All plants have medicinal properties if you know how to use them properly, okay? Even your lantanas that you have out in the yard. The hibiscus plant is very, very good. Lantanas are good for fighting off blood sugar, fighting high blood sugars. So eucalyptus. Now, this is really simple to make a tea with. You just boil the leaves like you do any regular tea bag. And this is really safe for babies. What I suggest with babies and pediatric patients, I often use chamomile for my grandbabies. I've used eucalyptus. And the caution is making sure that they're not allergic. As a pediatrician or a pediatric provider rather, I have recommended Zarbee's a lot. And if you just read the ingredients in Zarbee's, it's something that you can make at home instead of putting the money in somebody else's pocket. And you can often buy this stuff in bulk, and you'll have it on hand for whenever you need it. But I just want to bring out one more thing. It's not necessarily for a cold, but this is for pain that is associated with a lot of illnesses. Turmeric, or some people say turmeric, however you want to pronounce it. This stuff here is really good. You can make a tea with that as well. You can add it to those ingredients too. It fights inflammation. One simple way of making a night toddy too is to use some turmeric. I always add a little bit of cinnamon to mine just to offset the taste because that has such a unique flavor, if you will. It's kind of bitter and tart. It's really strong and pungent to me. Once you drink it enough, you kind of get used to it. But that powder is so good, even for post-surgical pain, for arthritis, for pain associated with the flu. It is really good. But I have found that with some of the people that I've given it to, that I have invested in the people that I love. I have ordered glycerin tablets, and I pack about a teaspoon in there. I have treated someone with turmeric before that had an abscess. 4 teaspoons one night, along with a little tea tree oil on top of as a topical agent on top of the abscess, was gone by morning. And this is one that was ready to be lanced. It was gone by the next morning. So that turmeric is extremely, extremely good and beneficial for any illness that causes inflammation. But there is a word of caution with the turmeric. It has some blood thinning properties, anticoagulant properties. So if you are taking blood thinners, you have to be very careful with that. I opt for the turmeric instead, but of course, you may want to speak to your doctor about that before doing that. But I did want to share one more thing with you. The progress that I have made with this arm of mine. Remember, this arm was good and fine prior to my fast. This arm has been ailing me for months. I want to say since August. And just to illustrate on this, I can do this without a problem. See how far back that goes? But on this side, first I can only get my arm here. Did a little work, did a little work, did a little work. Haven't x-rayed it yet. Now it's here. Still hurts, but it's nothing like it was. My range of motion has greatly improved as a result of my fast, and I just want to show you that now I can get it back here. It's still not completely straight now, by no means, but we're getting there, and I am expecting by day 21, I'm going to have full use of my arm. Just another one of those benefits of fasting. Well, thank you for sharing this time with me. Again, I am Alicia Moon with the 6th house. Just inviting you to come in because our doors are always open. And here we are striving for optimal health by natural means. Thank you.